Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, the final episode of the Metallica Discography reviews. We're going to talk about their last album, Death Magnetic, which came out in the fall of 2008. And this album was the return to the thrash roots for Metallica from the 80s. And this time, Bob Rock didn't produce the album. Instead, we get another legendary producer, Rick Rubin, who's done albums for like rappers and rap groups like the Beastie Boys and rock groups like the Cult, but metal bands such as Slipknot and Slayer as some examples. But and in fact, Rick Rubin produced one of the best thrash albums of all time in Rain and Blood from Slayer. But they decided to get Rick Rubin on this album to kind of help him out, trying to have that transition to go back to the thrashy roots from the 80s. And there's some great thrash songs on this album. Death Magnetic was really the big return to form for Metallica. And we start off the album with That Was Just Your Life. Fantastic opener for the return to form for the band. And also I forgot to mention with Saint Anger, no guitar solos, which was very controversial. But this album returned guitar solos back to the band, and the solos on this album were technical and amazing. So yeah, definitely a great return to form for Metallica. But That Was Just Your Life was a great opener. Then we get The End of the Line, which was another one of those really damn good songs from this album. Then we get Broken Beat Scarred, which is one of my favorite songs off the album. I love how the lyrics was made. In fact, this was up there with And Justice for All, like I said, as being maybe their most darkest lyrical album, because most of the songs on this album was about death in general. And it'd been since And Justice for All since they had songs about death. So, 20 years. Yeah. But Broken Beat Scarred was definitely one of those deathly songs. And I love how it goes in the middle of the song where they go, "Show your scars," with James and Rob Trujillo, who came into the band shortly after Saint Anger was done recorded. And this was his first official album he played on. And Rob Trujillo's a fantastic bass player. He kind of plays in the vein of Cliff Burton, which is great. Plus, he's famous for playing in bands such as Ozzy Osbourne and Suicidal Tendencies. But he did a great job with the bass on this album. And he, along with the rest of the members of the band, wrote the songs together, as far as riffs and patterns, but the lyrics were all wrote by James, but the patterns and the structures were written by everybody in the band. Then we get the first single of the album, which was The Day That Never Comes, which was kind of along the lines of the song One, lyrically and sounding-wise. It kind of had that kind of ballady type of vibe in the first half, but the second half picks up with the thrash metal that made them famous, and great solos, too. Then we get the song All Nightmare Long, which was a great song. Another detuned song, and this was a heavy, heavy song. And in fact, this song was used as the theme song for WWE No Mercy 2008, the last truly great pay-per-view theme WWE has had. Because nowadays, pay-per-view themes for WWE sucks. So, yeah. But All Nightmare Long, a fucking phenomenal song. Then another phenomenal song, the song Cyanide, which was another deathly lyrical song. This, I believe, was the second single from the album. Great song. Excuse me. But then we get to my favorite song on the album, The Unforgiven 3, which is the final part of the trilogy of The Unforgiven, which started... Excuse me. But then we get into, The Unforgiven 3 was the final third part of the trilogy of the Unforgiven series, which started from the Black Album with the Unforgiven 1, then on Reload with Unforgiven 2, and then Unforgiven 3, which is great song, and I like, even though I do like the piano beginning, I prefer that this song did have the original intro from the Unforgivens 1 and 2 with that beginning. And I actually have a version of this song on my PS3 that has that intro, which is really cool. And Unforgiven 3 was my favorite song on this album. It was a great song. It was the continuation of Unforgiven 1, 2. The second best Unforgiven out of the three, behind the first one, in my opinion. Then we get the Judas Kiss, which I thought was the worst song on the album, but still a really damn good song nonetheless. Then we get an instrumental, which was the first time since And Justice for All since they had an instrumental, and this was a really damn good instrumental. Suicide and Redemption was phenomenal, and it was 10 minutes. Great song. And then we get to the final song on the album, and another deathly lyrical song, My Apocalypse, which is the shortest song on the album, but it's 5 minutes. Another really damn good song here. But overall, with Death Magnetic, it was a great return to the roots of the thrash metal Metallica did. In fact, I mentioned in several episodes ago that in the mid to late 2000s, early to mid 2000s, was the thrash metal revival. This album was a part of that, when bands like Megadeth, Anthrax, and Metallica returned to the thrash roots. Slayer really kind of stuck through with the thrash metal right from the beginning. Same with Overkill. But you had like Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Testament, and Exodus kind of go in different ways with their music. Like Metallica went more towards a traditional heavy metal style. Megadeth kind of did the same thing. Anthrax kind of went into a little more alternative groove metal oriented sound. Exodus kind of went that same way. And Testament kind of was trying to mix in a little bit of groove metal with some death metal vocals in some songs from that period. But Death Magnetic was a great album. I give it a 9 out of 10. It was a great album. And I forgot to mention with Saint Anger, I give that album about a 6 out of 10, to be honest. But Death Magnetic, 9 out of 10. It was a great album. Now the question is, when will the next Metallica album be coming? There are rumors that they'll start recording in 2014 in the spring or summer of 2014. And it may come out in the winter of 2014 or the beginning of 2015. It depends on what they're going to do about that. But it will be really good. But after Road and Reload, it's now I'm turned into Scooby-Doo. So yeah, I had Road and Reload, which some people were like, oh, what the fuck is this? And then you had Garage Incorporated, and everyone was like, yeah. Then you had Saint Anger, and everyone was like, oh, no. But then we had Death Magnetic, and it was like, likey. But, yeah, that was just a random moment. I kind of got that from Cover Killer Nation, to be honest, because it cracked me up. But technically, they did that album Lulu with Lou Reed, and I know Lou Reed passed away just recently, and it is sad, but I thought when he did that album with Metallica, I thought he was trying to kill the band, to be honest, because Lulu is worse than Saint Anger. It's like a 2 out of 10, maybe even lower, like a negative number or whatever. I hated Lulu because Lou Reed almost tried to kill Metallica. And it's really classified as a Lou Reed album with Metallica playing metal behind it. Fritos. But yeah, hopefully when the next album comes out, it will be another great one to follow up Death Magnetic. But yeah, And that does it. We are done with the Metallica discography review series. Who knows what band I'll do discography review next time, or I might just do like one different album from a different band. Depends. But yeah. Anyways, peace.